Why did they even pretend to invite me if they were just going to shut me out like this? My name is Alyssa. I'm 32 years old. I live in Chicago, Illinois. And until that evening, I still believed my own family at least faked some respect for me. But that luxury dinner flipped everything upside down. It was a Friday night. I skipped an important investor meeting to be there. The Waldorf Astoria Chicago, that rooftop lounge with valet service and servers in crisp uniforms. My family had talked about a reunion to celebrate my brother's latest deal, and though they didn't outright ask me, it felt implied. I arrived in a tailored black dress and heels, the kind my mother wouldn't dismiss outright. The host glanced up from the ledger when I gave my name. Alyssa Thompson. I said, waiting for the usual nod toward the table. Instead, a puzzled frown. Sorry, ma'am, no reservation under that. Maybe under my father's name, I suggested. He checked again. A table for 5 under Ralph Thompson. They're seated already. Seated already, I followed his gesture, spotting them at a prime corner booth with city skyline views, laughing, clinking glasses, menus spread out like a perfect family portrait. That's when a voice cut in from behind, my mother stepping up as if she'd timed it. She eyed me like I'd crashed the wrong party. Oh, Alyssa, she said with feigned shock. You didn't really think this was for you, did you? I wanted to brush it off as a joke, but her smug tone said otherwise. Behind her, the others glanced my way, but buried smirks in their drinks. I stood frozen, the host shifting awkwardly. She leaned closer, voice low and cutting. This spot's a bit above your pay grade. Try the diner across the street, more your speed. I'd tolerated her digs before at holidays and birthdays, but this was calculated humiliation. And that's when I recalled a key connection they never knew about, one that would reveal my hidden role and change the entire game. Hey folks, if these family twist stories hook you, smash that subscribe button now. Takes a second for you, huge boost for me. Paula tilted her head like she was explaining something obvious to a child. You look lost, Alyssa, she said, her tone dripping with false pity. I figured you'd understand by now. Over her shoulder, I caught my family still ignoring me, stirring drinks and chatting as if I wasn't standing right there. My siblings saw me, they had to, but they just exchanged glances and kept laughing. I hadn't budged yet. The host cleared his throat again, eyes darting between us. Paula sighed like this was all so tiresome. You should have realized this dinner is for real achievers. Intimate celebration, you know. Family only in the true sense. Family only. The words hit like a slap, but I kept my expression neutral. She meant the ones who followed her script, the ones she deemed successful on her terms. I'm family, I said flatly, though it felt pointless the moment it came out. Her smile sharpened. By blood, sure, but don't kid yourself. The host offered weakly, Ma'am, perhaps a seat at the bar. Paula dismissed him with a wave. No need. Alyssa knows her place. That line pushed something in me, not anger exactly, but a sharp resolve. I'd dealt with Paula's barbs for years, my mother always positioning herself as the gatekeeper of our family's so-called legacy. She leaned in once more, her expensive scent overwhelming. Like I said, the diner down the street suits you better. Casual vibe cheap eats your usual. The staff nearby shifted uncomfortably, but no one intervened. Behind Paula, my brother John finally looked up, smirking behind his glass. My sister Heather whispered something to him, and they both chuckled. My father Ralph sat there silently folding his napkin like the scene wasn't unfolding. This wasn't a mix-up. It was orchestrated, a public takedown to remind me I didn't measure up. Paula had always favored John and Heather, the ones who chased her version of success, flashy careers, social climbs. Me, I'd built my path differently, quietly investing and consulting after years in event planning, but she'd never seen that as real achievement. That's when I decided to use the connection. "Actually," I said, straightening my posture, "could you page Robert Ellis for me?" The host blinked. "Robert Ellis. The owner." I nodded. "Tell him Alyssa's here. He'll know." Paula laughed sharply. "What, you're name-dropping the owner now? Do you even know what this place represents?" I met her gaze steadily. "I helped shape it long before you booked your little party." That unsettled her. Her eyes narrowed. "Bluffing won't get you a seat." But the host had already picked up the phone, murmuring into it. Paula crossed her arms, glancing back at the table where John was now watching openly, Heather still giggling. Ralph adjusted his tie but said nothing. A minute later, the host hung up looking surprised. "Mr. Ellis is coming out personally." Paula's composure cracked just a bit. "Wait, what are you playing at?" I didn't answer, letting the moment build. The double doors from the back swung open, and out came Robert, early 50s sharp suit, that confident stride I remembered from our startup days. His face broke into a genuine smile when he saw me. "Alyssa Thompson." He boomed, drawing eyes from nearby tables. "It's been ages." He strode over and pulled me into a quick hug, patting my back. "Robert," I said, playing along with the surprise. "Didn't think you'd come out yourself. For you always." He stepped back, grinning. "Last I heard, you were killing it in investments. Still remember our late nights planning this rooftop." We had launched his first venue together in Lincoln Park. I handled the event's side training staff and securing permits. The host stood frozen. Paula's arms dropped, her face paling. Over at the table, John set down his drink, Heather's laughter dying. Ralph finally looked up, brow furrowed. Robert turned to the host. "Get Alyssa whatever she needs, a prime spot, drinks on the house," Paula interjected, voice tight. "She's with us, actually, family dinner. We weren't expecting extra." Robert glanced at her like she was an afterthought. "She's my guest now. And if she's family to you, make room." Paula's eyes widened. "Our table's set for 5. "Add a chair," Robert said firmly. "Or I'll clear the adjacent booth. Alyssa's not waiting out here." She opened her mouth, then closed it. Robert turned back to me. "Catch up later. Got some new partners from that deal you brokered. Looking forward to it," I said. He mentioned our shared projects loud enough for the table to hear phrases like "launched 4 spots together" and "save the launch with your connections." Then he headed back, calling over his shoulder, "Enjoy Alyssa. Bill's on me if needed." The host, now eager, gestured. "This way, ma'am." Paula looked like she'd been outmaneuvered. I shrugged casually. "Lead on." As we approached the table, John's smirk faded. Heather averted her eyes, and Ralph shifted in his seat. Paula trailed behind, sitting last, like the air had gone out of her. For the first time, I wasn't the outsider. I was the one shifting the power. The servers adjusted quickly, extra chair, fresh setting napkin unfolded with care. Paula flinched at every Ms. Thompson they used. I sat next to Heather, who scooted over without a word. The waiter appeared. "Wine list for you, ma'am." Paula nearly spilled her glass. "Bring the reserve selection," I said smoothly. "Robert keeps specials aside for old partners." Paula forced a smile. "What a coincidence." "Not really," I replied. Heather tried to ease in. "So you and Robert go back." "Trained his first team," I said. "Helped fund the expansion pitch that landed his investors." John blinked. "You're in hospitality." "Was," I corrected. "Now consulting secured the zoning for this lounge, actually." Paula couldn't resist. "Consulting's one thing, but real success is legacy." I turned to her. "Legacy needs funding. Remember John's startup loan last year?" She stiffened. "Irrelevant." "It is if I arranged it," I said, folding my hands. John and Heather stared at Paula. The table fell quiet, the shift palpable. Robert hadn't even disappeared back through the doors before the tension thickened. He paused at the edge of the lounge, waving off a staff member, then glanced our way one last time with a nod to me. Paula sat rigid, her fork hovering midair, as if she'd forgotten how to eat. John leaned forward slightly, his usual confidence wavering, while Heather fidgeted with her napkin, eyes darting between us. Ralph remained quiet, but his gaze finally met mine, curious, almost questioning. I let the silence hang for a beat, then picked up where I'd left off. "That startup loan wasn't the only thing," I said calmly, sipping my water. Paula recovered first, her voice sharp. "What are you implying now? This is ridiculous." But Robert, still within earshot, chimed in casually from afar. "Alyssa's not one to exaggerate. She pulled strings for my expansion, saved us during that zoning battle." Heads turned his way and he grinned before vanishing. John cleared his throat. "So you know the owner. Big deal. Doesn't change the fact this was meant to be private." Heather nodded quickly, but her voice was small. "Yeah, we didn't plan for extras." Paula shot them a look, then turned to me with a forced smile. "Let's not make a scene. We're here to celebrate John's deal." I set my glass down. "The deal Robert helped close, because I introduced you to his network last year." Shock rippled across the table. John's face drained of color. "What? No. That was my pitch." "Your pitch with my revisions," I corrected. "And the investor meetup I set up. Quietly, no credit needed." Heather whispered, "Is that true?" Paula waved it off. "Coincidences. Family supports each other." But her tone faltered and Ralph finally spoke low and hesitant. "Alyssa, what's going on?" I leaned back, deciding it was time to lay it all out. "What's going on is I've been the hidden backbone for years. Remember Ralph's firm hitting that rough patch 3 years ago?" Paula's eyes narrowed. "That's private." "Not anymore," I said. "You were weeks from layoffs. I injected capital through a silent partner, my funds no strings." Ralph's mouth opened, then closed. He looked at Paula, who avoided his gaze. John jumped in defensive. "If that's true, why hide it?" "Trying to play hero now?" "No," I replied evenly. "I hid it so you could feel like you earned it on your own. Like with Heather's grad school tuition." Heather's head snapped up. "The scholarship renewal, Mom said it was from the alumni fund," Paula interjected. "It was. Anonymous donor." I smiled faintly. "Anonymous, yes. Me. Covered the gap when you lost the original award." The table went still again. Heather's eyes welled up, but she blinked it back. "Why didn't you say—" "Because it wasn't about praise," I said. "It was about family. But now I see what family means here, excluding the one who props it up." Paula tried to rally. "This is manipulation. Blood ties aren't about money." She reached across, touching Heather's arm. "We're connected by more than that. Don't let her twist things." I saw the tactic appealing to emotion, the blood is thicker card she'd used my whole life to keep control. "Blood ties," I echoed. "Like when you sidelined me for not fitting your image, I've funded this so-called legacy without a thank you." John tried again. "Okay, fine, you helped. But that doesn't give you a free pass to crash our night." Heather nodded weakly, tears starting. "It's just overwhelming." Paula seized on it. "See, you're upsetting everyone. Let's drop this and enjoy the evening as family." Her voice softened artificially, the manipulator surfacing. "We've had our differences, but we're blood. That counts for everything." Ralph murmured agreement, but it lacked conviction. I shook my head. "Blood doesn't excuse years of dismissal. I've carried this family financially silently while you treated me like an afterthought." Heather sniffled. "I didn't know. Thank you, but Mom's right. We're still family. John added, Yeah, let's not blow this up. But their defenses cracked John's bravado gone. Heather's tears reel. Paula pressed. Exactly. Forgive and move on. That's what families do. I met her eyes directly. No. Families respect each other. I've given chances, but tonight showed the truth. Robert swung by again, sensing the vibe. Everything good here? Paula plastered on a smile. Fine, thank you. But he looked at me. Alyssa, you need anything? I'm good, I said. He lingered, dropping another line. Remember that bailout for my second spot? Your advice turned it around? The table heard, amplifying the shift. Paula's facade crumbled slightly. Enough with the stories. I pushed further. One more. Ralph's retirement fund dip last summer, I bridged it with investments from my portfolio. Ralph stared. That was you, Paula snapped. Lies to divide us. But the doubt spread. John fidgeted. Heather wiped her eyes. Ralph looked betrayed. I stood my ground. Not lies. Proof. I've been the safety net, but no more pretending. The argument escalated. John argued back. You act like we're leeches. I built my company. With my seed money, I countered. Heather sobbed quietly. Stop, please. This hurts. Paula played the victim. See what you're doing. Tearing us apart over ego. But I refuted each point. Not ego. Self-respect. You orchestrated this exclusion to humiliate me. It backfired. Ralph finally intervened. Alyssa, if it's true, thank you. But Paula's right, family forgives. I shook my head. Forgiveness without change is enabling. I'm done. The CAO trow peaked as Heather broke down. John slammed his fist lightly. Paula's voice rose in denial. But the power had flipped. I held the narrative, exposing the cracks they'd ignored. The argument hung in the air like a storm about to break. Paula leaned forward, her eyes pleading now in that calculated way she always used to reel us back in. Alyssa, think about what you're doing. We're blood. We've shared holidays, milestones, everything. Money doesn't erase that bond. She glanced at Heather, who was dabbing her eyes, then at John, urging him with a nod. Tell her, John, we're a unit. John hesitated, then spoke up, his voice less assured. Yeah, sis. If you helped, great, but don't throw it in our faces now. We've all had rough patches. Heather chimed in through sniffles. Please, Alyssa. I appreciate it, really, but this is tearing me apart. Can't we just hug it out? Ralph added softly. Family sticks together no matter what. I felt the pull, the old guilt they relied on, but I pushed back. Sticking together? Like when you all laughed while Paula shut me out at the door? That's not family. That's convenience. Paula countered quickly. That was a misunderstanding. I thought you'd prefer something low-key, but now let's forgive. Blood forgives. She reached for my hand across the table, but I pulled away. No, I said firmly. Forgiveness isn't a free pass for repeated disrespect. Let's talk about John's big deal we're supposedly celebrating. John straightened. What about it? I closed it myself. With the client lead from my contacts, I revealed. And the negotiation strategy I coached you on over coffee last month. You called it your idea. He flushed. Yeah, but I executed it. Heather sobbed louder. Stop attacking him. You're making everything worse. Paula patted her back. See, this is what happens when ego overrides love. We're your blood, Alyssa. Without us, who'd you have? The manipulation peaked, twisting gratitude into obligation, using Heather's tears as a shield. Ralph nodded along, but his silence spoke volumes. I addressed each one directly. John, admit it, you've leaned on my investments for every startup pivot. Without that, where would your success be? He shifted uncomfortably. Fine, you helped more than I knew, but that doesn't mean I owe you everything. Not everything, I agreed. Just recognition. Heather, that grad program I didn't just pay. I reviewed your applications, connected you to mentors, yet you sided with Paula's snubs. Heather broke down fully now, tears streaming. I'm sorry, I didn't realize, but Mom always said you were independent, didn't need the spotlight. Paula interjected. Because she is, but family shares the light. Come on, let's end this nonsense. Ralph finally weighed in more. Alyssa, we've appreciated you in our way. Let's not destroy what we have over pride. Pride, I echoed. This is about truth. Ralph, you're firm. I not only funded the gap, I restructured your debts anonymously through my LLC. You thanked market luck in our chats. He looked stunned, turning to Paula. Is this real? She dismissed. Exaggerations to divide us. Blood unites, remember. But the cracks widened, John admitting under his breath. Okay, maybe I do owe you. Heather wailing. I feel so guilty now. The dispute intensified. Paula raised her voice. You're poisoning them against me after all I've done as mother. Done, I shot back. Like favoring them, belittling my path, I've built everything solo, yet bankrolled yours. John tried mediating. Let's calm down. Alyssa, we get it. You're the hero. What do you want? Heather pleaded through sobs. Just say you're still family, please. But Paula's tactic backfired. The more she pushed blood ties, the clearer their dependence became. Ralph stayed mostly silent, his face ashen, the weight sinking in. I refuted her final play. Blood doesn't justify using me as an ATM while excluding me. I've given silently for years, vacations I subsidized, emergencies I covered. No more. Heather collapsed into quiet cries. John rubbed his temples, admitting, Damn, I didn't see it this way. Paula's control slipped, her voice cracking. You can't walk away from blood. I stood slowly. Watch me. This dinner clarified everything I'm done carrying you all. The table fell into stunned hush, Ralph's silence turning to defeat, the family facade shattered. As the waiter hovered awkwardly, I felt the shift complete. Paula's manipulations failed, John's defenses crumbled, Heather's emotions exposed the hypocrisy. Ralph's quiet acceptance sealed it. They knew now, but change. Unlikely. I had the upper hand, ready to step away. I pushed my chair back and stood, the decision solidifying in that instant. This ends tonight, I said, voice steady despite the whirlwind inside. Paula's eyes flashed with panic. Sit down, Alyssa. You're overreacting. John reached out half-heartedly. Come on, we can talk this through. Heather's cries softened to whimpers. Don't go like this. Ralph just watched, his earlier silence now heavy with regret. But I didn't waver. Talk, you've had years to listen. Instead, you staged this to put me in my place. The waiter backed away discreetly as I gathered my purse. Paula stood too, blocking my path slightly. Blood doesn't walk away. Think of the family. I stepped around her. I am thinking of myself for once. With that, I turned and walked out, leaving the shattered table behind. No raised voices, no final barbs, just the truth hanging over them. The cool Chicago night air hit me as I exited the Waldorf Astoria. I didn't look back, hailing a cab instead. The drive home was quiet, my mind replaying the revelations but focused on what came next. At the apartment, I parked in the street spot, a small signal I wasn't staying long. Inside, the space felt different, echoing with years of unspoken support I'd given. I headed straight to the study, opening the locked drawer where I kept the records. Contracts, wire transfers, investment logs, all detailing the quiet aid to Ralph's firm, John's ventures, Heather's education. I photographed each one, methodically uploading to my secure drive. No emotion, just preparation. Then I grabbed a duffel from the closet, packing essentials, clothes, laptop documents, a few personal items. I left half the space untouched, not hiding, but stating my exit clearly. It was nearing 11 when my phone buzzed. Paula's number. I answered knowing this confrontation was inevitable. "Alyssa!" She started, voice strained. "You can't just leave like that. Come back, we'll sort it." I sat on the couch bag at my feet. "Sort what? Your exclusion." The years of downplaying me. She paused, then shifted to begging. "Please, for the family's sake. Blood means we fix things." "Fix," I replied. "Like how you fixed ignoring my contributions." Her tone cracked. "I admitted I was wrong. But there's more you don't know. Remember the house down payment when you were starting out? That was from us, not your savings." The twist hit an old secret she'd held to maintain control. "No," I said coldly. "I funded that myself. You borrowed from me later and never repaid." "Check the logs." She gasped. "That's not... Alyssa, we're family. Don't destroy us over pride." "Pride. This is boundaries. You've used blood as an excuse to take without giving back." She pleaded more. "John's deal, it's fragile. Heather's devastated. Ralph's heartbroken. Come home." But I cut her off. "This isn't home anymore. Goodbye, Paula." I hung up, blocking her number immediately. The fallout started fast. By morning, texts flooded in from John. "Sis, we need to talk. That client pulled out, said something about reassessing partners." Heather's messages were emotional. "I'm sorry. Please don't cut me off. I love you." Ralph sent one. "Let's meet. Family first." I ignored them all, forwarding the evidence to my lawyer instead. "Activate the recovery clauses." I texted him. John's company felt the hit first. Without my behind-the-scenes intros, his pipeline dried up. A quick check later showed 2 key contracts canceled. Heather called from a new number, sobbing. "Alyssa, my job's at risk. The reference you gave, they're questioning it now." Paula tried through Ralph's phone. "This is cruel. Blood doesn't abandon." I blocked them too. My lawyer responded swiftly. "Doc solid. We'll reclaim investments quietly." I wasn't sabotaging, just withdrawing the net. By afternoon, Ralph's firm announced a restructuring code for trouble without my infusions. The family empire built on my unseen pillars began crumbling. No revenge, just consequences. I finished packing, leaving a note on the counter. The records speak for themselves. No more. Stepping out with my bag, I felt lighter. The cab to my temporary spot downtown marked the start of severance. They called it destruction. I called it freedom. Settling into the downtown rental felt like breathing fresh air after years underwater. No more tiptoeing around Paula's expectations or covering for John's shortcuts. The space was simple, modern lines, city views, but mine alone. Over the next weeks, the family's downfall unfolded predictably without my interventions. First came the updates on Ralph's firm. A business alert pinged Thompson Associates files for reorganization amid cash flow issues. Without my quarterly infusions, they couldn't sustain the overhead. Paula texted from a borrowed number, "This is your fault. Blood should help, not harm." I blocked it without replying. John's startup followed suit. A press release announced strategic pivot after losing major funding. He emailed, "Need to discuss repayment terms. We're family, give me time." Deleted. Heather tried social media DMs pleading, "Sis, the guilt is killing me. Let's meet and fix this." I unfollowed and restricted. Their attempts escalated, but I stayed firm, channeling energy into my own ventures. Robert called a month in. "Heard about your break. You okay?" "Better than ever," I said. He laughed. "Good. Got a new lounge project in the works, downtown expansion. Need a partner with your eye for ops." I didn't hesitate. "Send the proposal." We met over coffee, hashing details. "Your connection sealed my last 3 spots," he noted. Let's make this one yours. The partnership formalized quickly, my investments front and center, no hiding. As I signed another alert hit, John's company shuttered, fully citing market shifts. Paula's voicemails piled up from unknown lines. How can you watch us suffer? Blood demands compassion. I ignored them, focusing on the launch, but the final push came when Heather showed up unannounced at my new office. She stood in the lobby, eyes red, clutching a bag. Alyssa, please. Just 5 minutes. The receptionist buzzed me. I stepped out, expression neutral. What do you want? She teared up immediately. Everything's falling apart. Dad's firm closed last week, layoffs hit hard. John's depressed, Mom's a wreck. We need you. Need me, I echoed coldly. For what? More bailouts? More silence while you exclude me? She sobbed. I'm sorry, I didn't know how much you did. But we're blood, doesn't that mean anything? The lobby quieted, eyes on us. I kept my voice level. It meant everything once. I gave without asking. But you all took it for granted, used blood to justify the slights. Heather reached for my arm. Please forgive us. Come home. I stepped back. This is my home now. Go back to Paula and tell her the net's gone. No more fixes. Her face crumpled. You're heartless. No, I said, self-protecting. Goodbye, Heather. I turned away, signaling security to escort her out. She left crying, but I felt no pull, just closure. With them blocked across all channels, peace settled in. Robert's project thrived. My input shaped the menu staffing, even the rooftop redesign, echoing our old collaborations. Profits rolled in my portfolio, untouched by their mess. A final news clip confirmed it. Thompson family assets liquidated amid debts. Paula's last attempt, a letter via mail. Blood will always call you back. I shredded it. Freedom wasn't revenge. It was reclaiming what I'd given away. No more carrying their weight, I built my future unburdened. Months later, looking out over Chicago's skyline from my office window, where a small sign reads, "No family credit lines." As a daily reminder, I realized the real win wasn't their fall, it was my rise. No more shadows, just light on my terms. The lounge opening with Robert sealed it, ribbon cut under city lights, guests toasting our partnership, the hum of success I'd built openly for once. From that dinner, I pulled one clear lesson. Don't let your own blood family undervalue you or exploit your quiet strength. Self-respect is the key to true independence. I stayed silent too long, propping them up while they dismissed me, but cutting ties unlocked a freedom I never knew. I endured the snubs, thinking family meant unconditional give and take, but it taught me the hard truth. If family doesn't honor your worth, choose yourself first. Their legacy crumbled because it leaned on unseen support. Mine stands solid, built from ground up. Viewers, take this to heart. If your circle, even blood, treats you like an outsider, step back and rebuild without them. Value isn't in endless sacrifice. It's in recognizing when to walk and thrive alone. That boundary isn't selfish, it's survival. Thanks for listening to my story, everyone. If a family snub ever left you questioning your worth, hit subscribe and comment your biggest takeaway below. It could spark real change for someone scrolling right now. Your support means the world.